Don Mazzella here again for Small Business Digest. We have with us a very interesting man who I've been dying to interview, but we've had occasions where we can't. But today we finally made it. Mikel Lindzaar is with us. He's got a company that solved a big problem, but I'll let him explain after he tells us first about it, a little bit about himself and his company and the website. Welcome.
Thank you, Don. So yeah, my name is Mikel Lindzaar. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Store Connect, and what we've released to market is a new category of product called customer commerce. And a little bit about me, I've been building this for about 7 years now. I have a real passion to help small business owners of small to medium business companies and not-for-profits and education providers really get into market and deliver their service. You know, if you're a small business owner, or you're running an organization, or you're doing some nonprofit activity, you want to be focused on getting your product or service or donation platform or whatever out into the wider community and make the world a better place in whatever way that your organization does that. And that's what we're all about trying to help you do. So really, we're trying to, and my passion is trying to help these people who are very short of time. You know, they're overwhelmed with all the requirements.
Mikel, you're a typical entrepreneur. You talk about your product, but you don't talk about yourself. Okay,
well, that's how I got into it, right? I wanted to help people, and I did a lot of not-for-profit volunteering work myself 10 years prior to launching my business. And I really wanted to work out, you know, I have a bit of a purpose in life to figure out what's stopping people from getting the results they want to achieve in their life and getting their production rolling. And that's what really led me into starting a business and creating this sort of thing focused for these not-for-profits and small businesses and small business owners. So, you know, I'm from Australia. I'm over here in the USA creating the business. You know, this is the land of freedom and opportunity. And we've been growing it quite happily, and it's been going really interesting. And unfortunately, it means I have to travel a lot. So it's a very long flight from Australia to America. It's 14 to 16 hours each way. And yeah, my family's over in Australia, and I go back and forth quite a lot now. But you know, it's been really interesting.
Let me interrupt you and ask first, what's your website for people?
Easiest way to go to it is go to customercommerce.com, and that will redirect you to our site quite happily. So just 2 words joined together, customercommerce.com.
I'm going to ask another question totally off. Why are so many Australians coming here to open businesses?
I think Australia is a tiny country. Like, we're massive in terms of land area. I think it's about similar size to continental USA. But we have the population that is smaller than Los Angeles spread across that entire country, right? So what tends to happen, I think, is a lot of Australians will start a business over in Australia in what's effectively quite a small market, really prove the point that the product's going to work, and then want to expand that globally. And the first global target is quite obviously America. And that's why I think there's a lot of Australians quite successfully opening up business over here and expanding. Plus, we've got a good sense of humor. So the Americans like us coming over, and we tell some good jokes. And I think that also helps.
Well, let's stop here and talk about your product. But the way it was presented to me is cart abandonment. You know, people start to buy something, and midway through, they stop for a variety of reasons. Yeah. And you have a way of reducing that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, completely, through a complete solution. So what we realized is problem in the market is a lot of companies are doing e-commerce, right? I mean, e-commerce as a field and a product is out there, everyone can do it. The problem is when you start thinking that the only thing you have to do is e-commerce. And that's where a lot of this cart abandonment comes in. You know, if you look at what a small business's or a small organization's superpower is, compared to, say, Amazon or some of the UNICEF organization that are fundraising and things, is they can really get to know their customer, right? They can have that personal connection with that customer. And that's impossible for someone like Amazon. They're not going to have a personal conversation with everyone. So how do you leverage that superpower? Well, the way you don't leverage it is just sort of copy what Amazon does and just create a website and then pray that it's going to work. So we came to market with this idea of creating customer commerce, of which e-commerce is one part. You know, you've got e-commerce, but you also have who is the customer, your customer relationship management system, your point of sale should be integrated, your subscription should be integrated, your memberships, multi-stores, different features, rewards and loyalty. So having all of that in one system built on top of the Salesforce platform really means that those small business owners and small not-for-profits can really get to know their customer and provide that, you know, that superpower which they have, which the big giants will never be able to replicate, and really understand that customer. And that's what drives down that cart abandonment, right? So one of the biggest reasons for cart abandonment is just bad experience. The recent report from Salesforce said that 75% of shoppers will abandon a cart after 3 bad experiences. Abandon a brand they love, not just the cart, but abandon the brand, never go back again after 3 bad experiences. So if your online e-commerce environment and your help desk, and when someone calls you and asks about their order, and your point of sale person at the front desk, if they're not looking at the same information, that's a bad experience for the customer. And we've all experienced this. You know, you call a company and they say, yeah, I'll look up your order, just wait a minute while I log into the other system, right? And you're sitting there going, why am I sitting here for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes while you're looking up? I just bought it. You know, it should just be right there in your system. So they're the sort of things that our product resolves and allows you to have that smoother, cleaner, faster, more intelligent checkout process where the customer feels like they've got a relationship with you as a company. And that then also reduces that cart abandonment and reduces that anxiety and that frustration that our customers are experiencing.
Well, they say if a customer loss is one, it's almost impossible to get back.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, the customer lost, you don't just lose the customer, you lose all the people that they're going to talk to about their bad experience. And that's even a bigger number that no one's able to even calculate, right? But we all know it. You know, you as a shopper are much more likely to tell someone about a bad experience you had than a pretty good one, right? Because pretty good is expected. Like, that's table stakes at the poker game. You have to be pretty good, otherwise you'd go out of business. You might be excellent, and then maybe the customer might tell 1 or 2 people, maybe. But I can guarantee you, if you ruin that customer's day for whatever reason, they're going to tell 15 people. And you've now lost all of that potential business as well. And fixing that, that's expensive. So yeah, that's where we come in.
Your website again, and how you named your product?
So the website, customercommerce.com, you can go there. It will send you to our product, which is called Store Connect. And our product is Store Connect because we connect your online store, your physical store, and your whole system all together into one platform.
How did you come up with the name before we go further?
Well, Store Connect, exactly per that, right? So we saw a situation where a company might have a Shopify store and a point of sale system and a retail store with a, you know, something else, and their back office, warehouse, store or whatever. And I wanted to make one system that included all of that and could connect the physical and the retail and the online into one platform. So when you install Store Connect, you can turn off your Shopify store, your WordPress website, your point of sale platform. We do all of that on the one system, right? So it just connects everything together and makes it in one platform. Customer commerce was a new category that we've created to really try and encapsulate all of that. So we found it was very hard to describe, you know, Store Connect is point of sale and this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And we said, you know what? All of that comes under customer commerce, and that's what we do, and that's what we deliver.
Well, let me see if I understand what you're saying. you've come up with a system where essentially most of the tools you need to sell and to identify what you're selling are all in one series of
one license fee.
platform.
Yeah, that's right. So a customer, one of our clients will come to us, they'll sign up for Store Connect, they'll be able to run their entire business out of our platform, including their back office sales. So if they have any B2B sales that they need to do where, you know, they might have a sales rep talking to a certain customer that gets a special discount rate, that's all supported as well through the Salesforce platform. And then that customer can even come to the website and sign in, and they can see all of their special rates on the website once they've signed in. They could even go to the retail store and sign in and see all their special rates in there. So it really brings all of that together into one platform and gets rid of what we call the plug-in purgatory of the small business owner's life, where they're just having to subscribe to 20 or 30 different systems and then stay up over the weekend making sure they're all working. You know, we want to give those people their time back and let them get on doing what they love, which is building their business and helping their customers.
But let me back up a minute. I go on to your customers, your clients' website, and I want to buy a widget to use, and I go all the way down to the end, and then I decide, well, today is not the day to buy a widget. What happens then? Do you then contact back the person? What happens?
Yeah, so every business is different on how they want to approach that, right? And some will do it in different ways, but quite commonly, that will create an abandoned cart record within their customer commerce Salesforce environment. They'll be able to go in and have the system automatically send them a special offer. So say that the abandonment happens at shipping. So they're at the shipping step. They didn't quite want to choose anything. They got rid of the cart. They went, you know what, today is not the day. So then that can come into their customer commerce system. We can send that customer an automated email saying, hey, notice that you wanted to buy these things. We've got a special offer. Here's 20% off shipping or 50% off shipping or something like that if you click here. That can then get that customer moving forward to the checkout step. Or say they went through the shipping step and then stopped at the checkout step or stopped at the terms and conditions or whatever. We can track that and you can send the correct communication out to that customer. And you can say, hey, you know, thanks for coming back. Like, here's a really good example. Say I'm a repeat customer, so it's not the first time I've bought from you and I abandoned my cart. Well, the message that you should be sending to me is not, hi, Don, thanks for visiting our store and here's a random 20% off your shipping, right? The message you'd want to send is, hey, Don, thanks so much for coming back and considering us for another purchase. We've really valued your business with us in the past. Here's a 20% off a discount in shipping because you're a loyal customer, right? So just that but
you're not offering a discount. You're not offering a discount.
You don't have to. Yeah, because in that way, or you might offer a smaller discount or whatever, but you're validating that customer for considering you and saying thank you for that business relationship. And look, quite often people don't buy things because they're $3 cheaper. I mean, obviously that is a factor in some cases. People buy things because they believe in the product, they believe in the company they're buying from, and they have a need and a desire that they want to purchase with, right? So if you can help facilitate those relationships, your ability to retain and hold customers just goes way up. And if your system is smart enough to identify that this is a repeat customer, not a brand new customer, then you can treat that customer in a different way. You can validate them for coming back as opposed to just carte blanche giving them a discount, right? And so not only does it help you retain those repeat customers and keep them coming, but it reduces your expense on acquiring and maintaining those customers. And, you know, I quite often when I'm shopping, if I'm with a small business owner, like down at my local deli store, and, you know, I'll give them a bit extra or I'll tip, or, you know, you'll always tip and help validate as a shopper the organizations that you love because you care about them. You want them to keep existing because they've given you good service. So that's what customer commerce is all about. It's how do you create these relationships with a client as a small business owner who doesn't have any time to create relationships with a client, right? It's this problem. And that's really what we've been trying to solve. And it's really interesting how, like, my clients come up with the most amazing things and ideas and concepts, and I'm constantly amazed at the way they're able to create those relationships with their customers using our platform.
Well, I went on Amazon last week to buy a floor lamp.
Yep.
And I was almost to the point of buying it. Then I said, oh, better not until my wife sees it. Okay. But can you, for instance, say, well, Mr. Jones, you like this lamp, but you're thinking of not, how about, have you considered these two lamps? Can you do that?
Yeah, you could totally do that with that whole abandoned cart process that I was talking about. We can also do recommended products. So people that bought this lamp also buy these sorts of lamps and things like that. But, talking to your point, that cart might be an abandoned cart, right? So again, the email that goes out might go, hey, you've got this cart in your checkout process. Here's a discount, or here's some other products that are similar to that one. Maybe we didn't quite get the right one. Or even if it's a repeat customer, you could send them an email that says, hey, for a lamp, like maybe a lamp, if it's $20 or something, you might not do this. But if it's an expensive item, you might send an email out that says, thank you for considering us, Don. You are a repeat shopper of ours, and we'd like to offer you a free consultation. Give us a call on the phone and we'll go through what your requirements are. And, just elevate that service level to just a next area. And I tell you, customers really remember this. When they're shopping around in the future, they go, yeah, I had this really good experience with that company, and Frank needs a lamp. Frank, go and speak to this crowd that I spoke to. They'll look after you. And this sort of thing is pretty amazing.
Can you, for instance, get an address and then automatically set out a mailing?
Yep. Yeah. And again, one of the challenges with systems like Amazon and those marketplaces is they actively prevent the small business owner from contacting the customer.
Yes, right? They do.
And this is like, this really annoys me. But because for a small business owner, as I said before, your superpower is the ability to establish a relationship with your customer, right? And having that relationship there at that direct level is what sets you apart from those big box marketplaces and companies and providers. So anything that you can do to get that customer coming to your website so that you can have that relationship with that customer directly, so that you don't abuse it, so that you have it as a nice communication, makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'll tell you a really good example of how this works. So we're working with a company that sells pedal bikes, push bikes. And we said to them, why don't you send an email out, a marketing email, if someone comes in and buys a kid's bike for a 5-year-old, that in 2 years' time, it's 99% sure they're going to be in the market for a 7-year-old's kid's bike. And then they're going to be in the market for a 9-year-old's kid's bike. And then you're going to be in a market for a 13-year-old, right? So as soon as that first purchase is made, a month or two before that, schedule in a marketing email that's going to go out and say, we have a special on 7-year-olds children's kids bikes, right? And you already know if it's a boy or a girl that's buying it because of the type of bike purchase. So you can tailor that email to that person 12 months after, or maybe 11 months after they bought it, because they probably bought it in a rush, right? Last minute gift. So 11 months before, send them the email. We have a special on, girls' 7-year-old kids bikes with tassels and everything. Do you want to buy one? Call us today. And that's the sort of thing that becomes magical, because kids grow at a known rate. So you can just plan that out. Or you're a jewelry store and someone buys a gift. I bought my wife a beautiful necklace. that store, if they're smart, will send me a marketing email a month before I bought the last necklace saying, thinking of gift ideas, here's something that would match the pendant that you bought last year, right? Saves me a huge amount of time figuring out what I'm going to buy my wife for a birthday, So this is where, marketing becomes useful. And the truth is that people like useful marketing. What they dislike is someone coming at them with a proverbial marketing shotgun and shooting them in the face with 1,000 messages, because that doesn't help anyone, and it just denigrates the whole industry. So creating these relationships, that's really, really powerful. And if you can think with your business on how to do that, maybe you do air conditioning repairs and they can come up and sign for an air conditioner repair. Schedule an email that's going to go out in 2 years that says you need to renew this air conditioning repair. 90% of people that renew or clean their air conditioner every 2 years get 7 more years out of their air conditioner life, which saves them $10,000 and blah, 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 So you can start being really intelligent with the data, but you have to have the data. And that's why we're talking about customer commerce with Store Connect and how we capture all of that into one system.
Well, before we go further, I'm sure you're aware that the FTC has just sued Amazon on that issue of how it's preventing. It's going to be an interesting lawsuit.
Yeah, it will be. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of shoppers feel safer on purchasing via Amazon due to the buyer protections and things like this. So it is a tough hill to climb for a small business owner. And then there's the proverbial question of, well, should I list on Amazon? Shouldn't I? I think for exposure, sure. There are other, lawsuits around Amazon releasing products that are competitive to the client's products and things like this. And I can't really comment on all that, but I think the move has to be from the small business owners. How do I establish my own relationships with my customer, and how do I communicate to them effectively and with reality?
It was interesting. I bought a fish feeder we have a pond in our house for fish.
Yeah.
And I bought a fish, and I had to return it because it didn't work properly, and didn't hear a word. But 2 months after I returned it, I got an email from the company saying, "We're sorry about that, but would you like to buy fish food?" So I guess somebody there must have been thinking correctly.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the other aspects of customer commerce is service, right? So traditionally, again, if you have an e-commerce website and you have whatever, you might have a separate help desk system that doesn't talk to those two things. And that's the dreaded let me log into the other platform thing that you get on the phone, right? So with customer commerce, if you were to call a company about your fish tank, fish pump, pond pump, that person answering that call would have your customer record, know which pump you bought, what model number it was, when you bought it, is it in or out of warranty, what's the process to get that returned, and be able to help you return it, right? And then as part of that, they could even say on the call, look, we have a special here. As you return it, we can send it back to you with a month's supply of fish food. And even sending that back out of the blue. I mean, imagine if you got the pump back and you weren't even expecting it, and there's a 2-day or 3-day or a week supply of fish food sitting in the box. You'd be like, who are these guys? Like, how did they know? And this is where it becomes exciting.
Well, your website again for our audience? Oh, you just froze.
Oh,
you just froze. So
2
try
words,
it one more time.
customercommerce.com. Just 2 words together, customercommerce.com.
I have 2 more questions, and then what was the most difficult thing about launching your company?
Wow. The 6 years of developing it to make sure that we had enough of a product to really make a difference to our clients' lives. It was a long incubation period because the market that we've launched into is quite competitive. You know, we
Yeah.
have Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce. We have all these products that reportedly do a lot of what we do, and in some cases are a bit simpler to get up and running, right? But what they don't do is they don't provide that full solution. So we spent a lot of time working with a lot of companies to really hone the product to a point where we could get it to where we are now. And we successfully raised a seed round now, and 5 years in, and now we're just shooting to the stars. So it's been a lot of long, late nights, both in Australia and America, and many hundreds of thousands of miles flying by plane.
I always think it takes longer than we ever expected.
Absolutely. You know, my dad runs a small business, and he has a very famous quote, which I repeat often, which is, as a business owner, you have total and complete freedom to choose exactly which 80 hours a week you want to work. And it's true, you know, as you really have to have a passion to build anything like this. And yeah, I would say my passion is really helping those people out there that just want to be part of the community, want to produce their product, want to get it out there, and help them do that, you know. And I think we've managed to achieve a lot of that with what we've built with customer commerce.
One last time, your website, and then the last question I'll ask you is, what would you like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, so customercommerce.com, 2 words, customercommerce.com. And I think, look, 2 things. If you are obviously there's a call to action aspect of this. If you are a small business owner with a retail store, or they've got an outdated e-commerce platform and they just want to start understanding who their customers are and really working with their customers, go to our website, book in a call. We will do a customer commerce consultation for you and have a look at what you've currently got in your environment and help you navigate it a bit and give you a path forward. You may or may not be a fit for us, but we'll give you the right advice anyway. And then I think the number one thing that I'd like small business owners to go away from this is, you're not alone. A lot of people out there are suffering the same day-to-day problems that you're having in terms of, how do I grow my business? How do I contact my customers? How do I get that communication in place? And yeah, reach out and we'll help you show you a potential solution.
Well, on that note, Mikel Lindzaar, we say thank you for a very interesting and informative time.
Thank you very much, Don. It's been fantastic.
Oh.